Welcome to Nothing But Net. I am pleased to be joined by the head coach at Davidson in her 6th year, Gayle Fulks. I cannot believe it's 6 years you've been at Davidson. It seems like just a short time ago. We were breaking down scouts when you were at Wake Forest. How's it going?
It's going really well. The last 6 years have been amazing to be leading my own program and be at Davidson College. We've got a great team, a great, just set up here. And, I've really found a second home. So it's been great.
You've won 3 in a row. You've had a big week, and you're 3-2 in the league. But when you look at the losses to Fordham and Dayton, they're just one possession games. So you're right in the thick of things. You got to feel good about where your team is.
Absolutely. We've had some injuries kind of throughout the season. And so we've kind of had to learn to, win and play different ways. And I think that's really made us stronger, now that we're heading into conference play. But these last 3 games, I think you've really seen us kind of come together and really gel. And it's been exciting for me to see it all come together.
So Issy Morgan is the player of the week this week. She had a huge week for you guys to help you go 2-0 in this week. What is it about her on the floor that makes everything run so much smoother for you offensively?
Izzy's just a great presence. When you talk about a floor general or, your point guard, she just embodies the whole thing. She's a very positive influence. She's everybody's biggest fan. And then she's just got a confidence to her that really calms everyone else. And when she's out there, playing, shooting well, finishing at the rim, she's a great playmaker as well. We're just really dynamic. And I think what you've seen in these last few games is a little bit of what she was doing late in the year last year, kind of coming together. And she's had some injury stuff happen in the last, 6 months, and she's finally back now really healthy. And our team thrives with her, playing at 100%. And we really feel like she's back now. So we're really excited.
So I had a chance to break down some film on Ellie Sutphin, and I know Ellie's game from her time at NC State, and she's averaging 17 points a game for you right now. What is it about her skill set that has seemed so seamless in her transition to be able to play in the system that you want her to play in?
Yeah, I think it's her versatility. She's got an ability to score inside, outside, with both hands, off of both feet. I think she's just really comfortable with the ball in her hands anywhere on the floor. And it's really a testament to her work ethic. She's a first in the gym, last to leave. She usually is in the gym shooting when I get in the morning. So everything you've seen her do in a game, she has done probably a million times in our gym, and I think it's just that confidence that we both have. She's got it in herself, and I trust that I have in her, that, it's the work's been put in, and she's dynamic. It's a lot of fun to coach her.
Isn't that what we really want? We want kids to look like they love the game. They want to be in the gym. They need to get in there for extra time. They don't all want to do it, but is she the kind of leader that takes somebody with her and makes sure that others are getting extra shots as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think she's done a great job of bringing others along. And we talk about that a lot in our program, is that it's not just about me, but it's about we. And, that means there's got to be more than just you in the gym. And she's done a great job with that. And I think we've really seen her take younger players under her wings, and really show them what it looks like to be not a professional, but have a professional mindset, about, being diligent about putting the work in so you can have confidence come game day.
Yeah, I know what a great student and study of the game you are. This is your second head coaching job. This is not your first. So you have been able to learn on the fly, but you've learned from some really good people. When you start breaking down what you like to do and the people that you have to do it with, where are your influences most profound on the floor?
Yeah, I think there's a kind of a few answers. My dad was a longtime coach. And so, I've gained a lot of just, I look at myself on film sometimes and I'm like, man, I watched my dad do the same thing, so I think we have very similar demeanors. It's kind of scary. But obviously, kind of gained a lot from him. But then it's been kind of taking little bits and pieces from a lot of places. Our style of play and how we like to do things has, been heavily influenced by me seeing a lot of international basketball, particularly in Australia, and really just kind of loving kind of that international style of play. And you see it with our roster. You see it kind of in how we like to play in a more 5 out, 4.5 out kind of motion. But Really, I've always loved to study the game. I've always been somebody that thought I was going to be a head coach one day and get to pick the people and pick what we do and see how good I am at it. And, right now it's really just been, kind of over time, tweaking, adjusting, kind of stealing a few things from other people, other places. But, it really is something that we're not modeling it after somewhere else. We're really trying to make it our own here. And, I'm really proud of just kind of the brand that we've established here.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm impressed with is that, there hasn't always been a lot of success at Davidson. Certainly on the men's side with Coach McKillop, there's a lot of success there. He's a Naismith Hall of Fame coach. When you look at what Davidson has been able to do and what you've been able to put as a footprint and a blueprint for how to get it done at an academic institution and a really good league, what do you think are 2 or 3 really important things that you've learned along the way?
I think, just in the recruiting process, it really being a great fit on both ends, so we have a really unique kind of niche school in Davidson College, being high academic, having a smaller enrollment, being a liberal arts college, but then also kind of, bringing in players that really are like in love with that idea, in addition to wanting to be great at basketball. And, I'm fortunate I can go anywhere in the world, and find these people, because of kind of the caliber of institution I have at Davidson, but also that guy, Steph Curry, everybody, in the world has heard of him, and everybody knows he's gone to Davidson. And I think, what we've been able to do is really reach people from, just about anywhere and bring them into our program. And I think that, just great fit holistically, has made it where we haven't had transfers. We've had a lot of continuity. I think we're one of the most stable programs in the country as far as, having people spend their whole careers here. And I think, that in itself is, I think, where we've gained our strength, is that's how we're different, is, we're really building, with 4-year players.
I was going to get to Steph Curry. You jumped the
Yeah.
gun on it. I'm glad you brought his name up because I know he's had an influence on Davidson athletics for sure. Definitely on the men's program,
Yes.
probably on the golf program as well. I know he cares about certain things, volleyball and other sports. And how has he been with you?
Tremendous. I can't say enough of just about how gracious he is, and, how much he's really invested equally into the women's basketball program as he has the men's basketball program. And I think that really just speaks to, his commitment to Davidson and his commitment to empowering women as well. And, his wife, Aisha, and their Eat, Learn, Play, and all the things that he even gives back into the community with building his new Curry Court over at the Ada Jenkins Center, which is our local community center. But, he really is all in on making this entire area, this entire place great. And we're really fortunate. I mean, you see our shoes. We got so many different Curry shoes. We've got the gear, but the time that he spent with our team when he came back for his graduation ceremony, he got to work out in our gym. Oh, here we go. The light went off, censored. The time that he spent in our gym and the, time he spent at kind of the after party getting to know our players, was just really sincere. And I think that's something that really separates him from, a lot of people that are in his shoes, is just when he's in front of people, he just spends such great time with them and he can be very present. And it's an incredible attribute and very impressive.
I think everyone wants to get a piece of a guy like that, right? I mean, he's so philanthropic, he's so giving, he's so great for the game. He's changed the game in a lot of different ways. Does he ever text you after games, or have you ever heard from him, or does he keep an eye on you? He's watching?
Yeah, it's more kind of the social media, Twitter side of things. It's not the personal text side, but, I know he's following us, and I know that, we kind of hear from him when we need to. And, he's just been great with all of our girls. He's going to have a chance to mentor one of our incoming players as part of kind of a cohort at Davidson for women, moving forward into next year. And so he's going to continue over time. He's just continuing to add more support and more access to our women, as he can. So it's awesome.
That is awesome. And I'm so glad to hear that he's involved and interested in what you're doing as well, which I knew he was. I mean, he's just that kind of guy. Do you think there is something unique and different about the A-10 race this year that is unlike other years?
I do. Obviously, I think everybody kind of picked UMass to be at the top of the league. They brought everyone back. They won it last year, but just kind of watching the league, I think on any given night, people are giving different programs kind of trouble. I wouldn't say that there's a true hierarchy where it's like, hey, these are the top 4 teams and this is the next 4 and the next 4 and the next 4. But, it's really, matchups are very important, and I think this year it's being shown even more. We've got great coaches in our league, and you're seeing, I wouldn't call them upsets, but just, matchups have been, I think, have really impacted games. I don't think it's been just sheer differences in talent. I think it's been, how teams play. And I think every year it's been like that. But this year in particular, I think you're seeing it even more. And so I do think, hey, it's up for grabs. I really do. And, UMass, obviously, the reigning champs, have a lot of talent, and there's some other teams that do as well. But I think for anybody, I think it's going to come down to who's playing their best ball come March and who's healthy.
I have always thought it's who you play when you play them in conference play, but I see it being more of an issue this year because there is more parity, more balance. The game is getting better. Players are getting better. Resources are better. All of it's better. In your time, is there 1 or 2 things that you can think of that you want people to know about your team when they come to watch you play?
Yeah, I think what we've really tried to build here is players that are very versatile and that, have a great motor in how they play. And, when you come see us, we're just very balanced. I think you're going to see the ball really sharing it. You're going to see us shooting it at all 5 possessions, but just the idea that you really have to guard us all over the floor, and I think that's kind of what's made this Davidson team really special is, Izzy Morgan wasn't averaging, huge numbers before this week, but, other teams made choices to really lock in on Ellie Sutphin and Rosie Deegan. And, then it was her turn to sort of shine, and she did, and she was ready. And so I think just understanding that we never want to be a program that's just about one player. We want to have great players at every position, and, really have an unselfishness to how we play that, hey, if it's your turn, it kind of is your turn. Based on how the game's going. So I would say that's a big thing. And I think the other thing is, we just take a lot of pride in being the most cohesive program in the country, just in how we interact, how we talk, how we play. But we really have that as a thread through everything that we're doing. And, we spend a lot of time really cultivating that. And it's not something that we do a ton of team building exercises or anything, but it's more just a cultural thing where it's like, hey, that's the top line. Like, hey, are we being cohesive in how we're working together? And I think you really see that shine through. And what gives me great confidence, leading into a conference tournament this year is I do think we've got the most cohesive program in the country. So really proud of that.
I could see some good team bonding taking place down there at Lake Norman. You are in one of the most beautiful spots in North Carolina. Gayle, thank you so much. The head coach at Davidson for being with us on Nothing But Net. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks so much, Debbie.